Hi everyone, my name's Amy and I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator in the UK, and today I'm going to show you how I made these treat bags out of some of our Petal Passion DSP, but they can be used or created using any of our fantastic designer series paper. They are 5 centimetres across, 1.5 centimetres wide by 12 centimetres tall. And they then have a design on the front which you can adapt and change to whatever you want to, but I have used the Lovely Wishes stamp set and a couple of our punches. So they fit in a couple of chocolate bars or whatever sort of treats that you want to, but they're really easy to make and they only use 6 inches by 6 inches DSP, so not a lot at all, and you can get 4 bags out of one sheet of our 12 by 12 paper. So I have used our Stampin' Up gift bag punch board. It's not one of the standard sizes that is on the directions on the front of the gift board. Oh my god, on top of the gift bag punch board. I kind of adapted it and created my own size. So we're going to first of all put our 6 by 6 piece of paper right into the side and line it up at the top along with the start line. And we're going to score down where it says side 2 here, and also where it says S for small. We're also going to need to score down the horizontal line, which is just down here. You need to move it back slightly as well to catch the start of the paper so that it's scoring all the way along. So while it's back on that start line, we also need to punch down. Now this initial punch doesn't always go through, but don't worry about it. So because it's right on the edge of the paper, it doesn't always like to catch it, but we'll use our paper snips and catch that later, so don't worry about it. We then need to move where we have scored the side 2, we need to move it up so it's then level with the start line. And we then need to again punch. You can hear then it punched a lot better because it's now in the middle or a more central area of the paper. And we need to score down the S line again here, okay? Also again along the horizontal line. We're nearly managing to get the whole width of the paper now as well. And then you need to move up the score line again so that the next one down now lines up with the start line. And again score along the S, along the S line down here, and then we can just finish off our horizontal line as well. We also need to punch again, then continue up and move it so that our next score line is again level with that start line, and punch, and then lastly move it one more to the final score line and again punch. So that's all of the steps that we use the gift bag punch board for, and you'll then end up with an area here, a side area, another front area, side area, and this is going to be our tab that helps create the bag. You can see where that one there, it's kind of scored it, but it's not punched all the way through, so we'll sort that out next. But that's all we need the punch board for. We can get rid of our little bits as well. So we're going to fold those lines and just reinforce them by scoring them using the bone folder that actually comes in the gift bag punch board, and also do all of the flaps along the bottom as well. I tend to find it easier to fold all of these first, flip it over, and then burnish from the other side. Now, because, like I said, this isn't a size that was the gift bag punch board was designed for, these flaps here are actually going to be too long to be able to create the bottom of our bag. So we do need to come along and just chop them in half. Now, it doesn't have to be entirely accurate. I've only ever done it freehand. But what you want to make sure is that they are smaller than the width that we're making the bag. So by doing them near enough in half, you should get it so that they fit fine. And I'm just going to neaten up that edge where the punch board didn't quite get the end section right. But like I said, it's not an issue, it just comes out like that. Now at the same time, you then got those pieces there, if I flip it over, and then you've got this end piece here. Now we don't need the tab of this end piece because this is the piece that we're going to be sticking our bag together from. So what we want to do is just take off that and create a little bit of a graduation as well. And that's all of the bag components ready. You can see then that that's how it's going to fold up and create our punch board. So you can use fast fuse to stick it together, or because that's nice and strong, but I've been using some of our double-sided tear and tape. And what you'll need is you'll need a section down there, and then you'll also need it on the reverse of this next one here. So that's probably not the right size. Let me get another piece just to save me having to take off too many in a minute. Right, there we go. So we've got adhesive on here and adhesive on the back of this flap. Okay, so we're going to put it together now. The quickest and easiest way to do it is if you have it so you've got the inside of your bag facing up, you fold over that first section, and then all you need to do is you need to just fold it so that everything lines up flat, burnish it a little bit, and everything then should have come together. Nice and simple, nice and easy. And then for the base, because we don't want, so this is where the bag's actually gone together, you don't want that to be your front section. By putting the adhesive on there, that's going to be our last flap that goes over, and therefore make the front of the box all nice and neat. So we're going to take that piece of backing paper off first, and I've been folding in this one first, then the two side panels, and then the last one with the adhesive on, and then that way I found that everything gets stuck down at the same time. You can then use the other end of your stylus, give it a bit of a rub on the inside of the bag just to make sure it all sticks together. And that is as simple as it gets. Now obviously on my versions I've then created a bit of a symbol on the front, so I'm going to show you how I've done that and what I've used. So I used our, that one. I've used our Starburst punch. I love punches for their simplicity, and I've used some rich raspberry cardstock. So I'm just going to punch out one of those. And then for the greeting on the front of mine, I've kept them all the same, just used two different colours of ink. And I've used the stamp set Lovely Wishes, which has some fantastic imagery in it and lots of things that you can create as much of a an impression on the card or keep it nice and simple. So I've just used the outlines, used the flower one here, but it does come with the part that you can then colour it in and stamp that as a two-step stamp. And I've used then the wishing you a lovely day sentiment in there as well. So what I have done is I have, let's move those bits out of the way for a minute. I have put them on my block, both at the same time. But as you can see, I've used those two different coloured inks. And what I can do, because they are photopolymer, I've used Old Olive for the leaves. And if you are super careful, because of the photopolymer and the see-through aspect of it, you can use the corner of your ink pad to just ink up that part of the leaf and the stem, and then using rich raspberry ink to match the cardstock I've used, you can then, again using a corner of the ink pad, and you will see that this does stain, but it does not affect the stamp at all. It still stamps in exactly the same way. So there we go. So I've got the green ink on the leaf and the rich raspberry ink on the rest of it, and just using a piece of Whisper White, I am then going to press down and get both of those colours done in exactly the same time. Now if you want to, you can use markers. If you don't have the ink pads, the markers are fantastic and a great way of getting even more detailed and different ways of different coloured inks on them. Once you've coloured them in though, make sure that you do give a huff on the stamp. That sounds weird, but you need to breathe on it to reactivate the ink in case it dries out when you're going through and colouring in the rest of the image. With the ink pads, I find it doesn't dry out very much. So then to take this image out, we're going to use the 2-inch punch. We're just going to line up. Now this image, I made sure it does fit. You get very close to the edge on a couple of bits of it, but the 2-inch punch actually fits a lot of our stamps. And then we've got the front parts to decorate our bag. So to pop this one on here, I've put this flat on this section. To do that, I'm just going to use a bit of our Tombow glue. And with the starburst stamp or punch behind, you get just a bit of a border around. There we go, there's that one. And then to attach it to the front of the gift bag, you can either use a bit of double-sided tape or use some of our dimensionals and have it slightly raised from the bag. So I'm going to have this one raised. If you just pop it on there, pop your fingers inside, and that's attached to the front, nice and securely. Now at the top, I've used ribbon to close these ones. I didn't have any rich raspberry ribbon, but I have instead used fresh fig, which actually matches in really well with the rich raspberry. And fresh fig is one of the in colours at the moment. So to get the hole to put it through, I've just freehand punched it using the 1/8 of an inch circle punch. So if you just hold it shut at the top so that the sides are pretty level, and punch through both sides at the same time, because we're just using paper, it goes through really easily and creates that hole we can then put ribbon through. If you want to, you can have 2 holes and create yourself a little handle, but I've gone for just the one. So like I said, I've used some fresh fig ribbon, and this is the fresh fig, I think it is, yeah, finely woven ribbon. And then, but before we put that in there, we're going to need to fill it. So I have found these fantastic small chocolate bars from Lidl. They taste absolutely gorgeous. The kids love them, I love them. And I'm going to put 2 in this one, so I've got 2 different flavours, and I'm just going to pop them down inside. There is still probably room for a third. For the ones I've already made, I've also made some with some little lollies in them, but there's lots of chocolate bars that I'm sure you can get local to where you are that would fit into a treat bag of this size. Now with the ribbon, because the hole is fairly small, you may struggle to get it through the first time. It depends on how thick your ribbon is and how nimble your fingers are. Mine are not great, so I am going to use our pokey tool, and I am just going to wrap the pokey tool around the end of the ribbon and use it to get me started, and then pull the ribbon through. Now all I've then done is just tied a knot, because I'm rubbish with bows, and to be honest, you could leave it at that, just a bit of ribbon stuck to the top, but I quite like the way that I can then keep it so it's straight and upright by using a bit of just basic black baker's twine. And like I said, all of these colours, you can choose whatever you like. So I've got just a piece of the baker's twine. I am going to tie it around that top section, just above the knot that I've actually secured the ribbon with. Push it down so that I'm happy with how it looks. Make it tight. Wrap it around a few times either way, and then secure it again with either a knot. As I said, I'm rubbish with bows, or if you cut the twine long enough, I can sometimes just about make a decent bow from it. There we go. And that is as simple as it gets. Now, obviously the DSP comes in lots and lots of different variations. And the fact it's double-sided means that the inside of your treat bag is as nice as the front. And with the Petal Passion DSP, the black and white means that you can then go with any colour on your stamping. And it can be a thank you bag, it can be just a small treat like this one, wishing you a lovely day. But it doesn't use very many supplies and it's really effective. So I hope you like this other way of using the gift bag punch board. So many of our things can be used in lots of different ways. Thank you very much for watching.